channel. For those who don't know me, I'm Patrick and I love bullet journaling, art and calligraphy. And in this video we're about to tackle the art project for the month of August, which is to learn how to draw buildings. When it comes to drawing buildings, I did a little bit of research and I would say there are two different types of drawing styles. Once you have urban sketching, where you are trying to loosely sketch buildings, not having two straight lines, but it doesn't mean they are not detailed, but they still have a bit of an expressionist vibe to them. And then there are actual architectural drawings where architects, for example, but also others who might have studied architecture but are now artists, are using specific techniques with perspective and maybe even using rulers to create beautiful drawings of houses or rooms or anything architecture related. And I was watching those YouTube videos from those content creators and I got a bit of an idea on how to draw buildings, and for me the main 3 points that I would say have come out of this is: number one is to know which perspective to use. They were all talking about 1 point, 2 point and 3 point perspective, and depending on what image or what building you would like to draw or what your building sketch should look like, you should know beforehand which point perspective you would like to use. The second one is, when it comes to urban sketching, you shouldn't do too straight and too neat lines. You should really try to wiggle them in a way and to really give the sketch some character and stuff. And it's always like not overcomplicating it, like really start with the basic shapes, work your way up, adding as many details as you would like, and add some color if you want. The third rule, which also is in line with the second rule, I would say, is to have as much fun as possible. So at the end of the day, if you, for example, really enjoy how a specific building looks like and you would like to draw it, then do it with a curious mind and do it with as much joy as possible, and do it because you would like to document that specific building in your sketchbook, for example. I am trying to take that with me now, and I would like to also try out drawing buildings now with you in this video. I do have this specific video where 3 examples of how to draw a building are included. They are with all of those 3 perspectives. 1 point perspective, which in most cases mean that you have a front view of a building and you more or less draw the facade of that building. The 2 point perspective, which is you see the building from its corner and you see 2 sides of a house, which means you create a 2 point perspective. There is also an example for a 3 point perspective drawing that I would like to tackle as well, even though every one of those creators have mentioned that you should start simple and you should start with 1 point and maybe 2 point perspective, and 3 point is a bit difficult. However, I would like to give myself a little challenge and I would like to see whether it works out or not. I would like to also bring along with me, and yeah, please also tell me in the comments how I did. One thing before I start, I would like to mention that I'm doing this today on my tablet, so I'm doing this digitally. It kind of makes sense for me right now. You know, the use of layers is always quite nice for me. Being able to, for example, have a layer for all of the lines that I need to create the correct perspectives, and maybe have a sketch layer and then have the final layer where I'm actually drawing the final piece, something like that. This gives me a bit of flexibility. That's the reason why I am going to use my tablet. And yeah, without rambling too much, I would say we jump right into it. Alright, so the drawing session is over. Now I have created 3 different drawings of a building in 1, 2 and 3 point perspective. I at least tried. And I am quite happy about how it turned out. The exercise itself was a bit challenging for me because I was thinking about having the horizon line and the vanishing point, and then having a lot of guidelines that help me to really work on all of the perspective itself. But in this specific exercise that I was using, I mainly worked with dots and using distances between different corners of the building to determine the shapes, which was also kind of fun, to be honest, and which led me to have the perspective, the 2 or 3 point perspective in the end, almost without having those guidelines, which was kind of fun. It was also quite enjoyable to think about what details I'm gonna add and what details I'm not gonna add. When it comes to the details that Sketching Scotty has added and that I have added, they do differ a bit. I would say I haven't done as many details as he, but at the end of the day, this is the very first time I'm actually trying out perspectives and trying out to draw buildings. It was so much fun, and I have to say that I'm actually looking forward to my vacation now in August, and maybe here and there I have the time to create such building sketches as well, because that would be a lot of fun to exercise that skill of drawing buildings, of using perspectives and stuff like that. It was also a lot of fun to play around with the colors when coloring in. So as you can see, I was always trying to add as many of the shadowing and stuff as possible. At the same time, I really tried to not overdo the coloring and keep it rather simple and rather, yeah, expressive in a way. And I'm really happy about how it turned out. What do you think? What are your thoughts on my first building sketches? What would you have added? What would you have left out? Please tell me in the comments. I would love to discuss that with you all. And with that, I would say we've come to the end of this video. I thank you very much for watching. If you have come this far, please comment a house emoji. Yeah, if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like. If you would like to see more of me, of my bullet journaling, art and calligraphy content, then please subscribe. And with that, I thank you again very much for watching, and we will see each other in my next video. Bye!